Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, my student. Okay, Mr. Mu'taz Said, biology teacher with you now. We will explain lesson 3, reproduction in flowering plants. Okay, reproduction in flowering plants. Flowering plants are large group of seed plants whose seed develop with a pericarp, or means the seed develop inside the fruits. Okay, so it's a called group of plant called angiosperm. Angiosperm means that the seeds are inside the fruit. They are common in various habitats. They vary in size from small herbs to giant trees. The flower in these plants is a specialized organ for reproduction. It's a short stem with the leaf being modified to various floral parts. الفlower arises from axil of either green, okay, axil of either of green or a scale leaf called bract. In some cases, flower occur without bracts. Flower may be solitary, apical as in tulip flower, or so stop the growth of the stem, or may be solitary axillary as in Betonia flower. In other cases, flower may be grouped on the floral axis into various aggregation called inflorescence, like البينز or المانثو. Okay. What are flowers? Parts of the flower. We have studied before. The flower is the reproductive organ of the angiosperm. The flower angel emerges from axil of a leaf called the bract that varies in shape and the color from a plant to another. The flower in some plants is carried on a pedicle. Okay, flower here is carried on a pedicle and so becomes stalked. In some plants it's no stalk. The structure of typical or complete flower you can see here طبعا البيديكل above a receptacle. Okay, we have the first leaf, it's called the calyx. Calyx here formed of sepals, maybe 3, 4. And function of calyx to protect. Function of calyx to protect the flower. After that, we have the inner word, which is inner leaf. It's called corolla. The corolla formed from petals, which has attractive color to attract bees. Okay, and we will know after that bees come here for pollination. Okay, but bees come to have the nectar inside the petals. Okay, after that we'll take the endoecium, the male part. Okay, the male part endoecium consists of a stamen. The stamen here consists of the anther, which contain pollen grain, male gamete, and which are raised by the filament or attached to the filament. Okay, also we have the female part junicium. Junicium consists of carpels. You can see here parts of carpels. The carpels have 3 parts. Number 1, stigma, style, and the ovary, which contains the ovule. Okay. The 4 floral walls, the calyx, the corolla. Okay. In flowers of most monocot plants, like tulip or onion, the leaves of calyx are hardly differentiated from those of corolla. They stick to each other. Both walls are called perennials. The endoecium, male part, okay, may be contained as also consists of the anther, which contain 4 sacs of pollen grain. Junicium, I said junicium, it's a female organ which contain carpels. Carpels consist of stigma, style, and ovary. Leaves of which whorl alternate with that of the next whorl. Flower function. What's the flower function? In order for the flower to perform its function, it reproduces and in reproduction and species continuity. The stamens should prepare for pollen production. Okay, stamen make pollen production inside the anther, and the ovary for ovule formation. That follows the 2 processes of pollination and fertilization to produce the fruit and the seeds. Number 1, we'll talk about formation of pollen grain. As you see here, the answer contain, we have TS section on answer. The answer contain 4 sacs of pollen grain. Okay. The pollen grain at the start, it's called spore mother cell. Spore mother cell. 2N, 2N chromosome will divide mitotic division to form 4 cells, microspores, but contains a single number of chromosome in chromosome, and will divide to form 4 cells. After that, mitotic division of nucleus, the same number of chromosome N, to form bowling green. You can see here bowling green. The bowling green contain 2 types of nucleus. Have tube nucleus, and will be analyzed, disappear after that, and generative nucleus. Generative nucleus or the main nucleus. Also, it's surrounded by thick wall. Okay, surrounded by thick wall to protect it. Okay. What about the formation of ovule? During the production of bowling green in the answer, parallel change occur in the ovary as. The ovule here start to appear as simple swelling on the interior ovary wall that contain large spore mother cell 2N chromosome. Also meiotic division is a spore will form 3 spore cells. Degenerate. Okay, 3 spore cells will degenerate. Okay. Also during the ovule growth, funicle or umbilical cord. The umbilical cord, funicle or umbilical cord will form. Okay, the umbilical cord. Develop connected end with the ovary wall through which food material reach it. The 2 integuments surround the ovule completely, save a minute hole called micropyle. This opening is called micropyle. Okay, micropyle. This is called micropyle. Okay, through which the ovule is fertilized. Here the bowling green will enter. The spore mother 2L divide mitotically, I say, to give 4 haploid cells. 4 haploid cells in. 3 of them degenerate, and the 4th one grow rapidly, forming embryo-sac. Okay, the one of the cell form the embryo-sac in and divide mitotic to form 3 times, giving 8 nucleus. Okay, 8 divide mitotically 3 times, giving 8 nucleus. Each one has N chromosome. 4 of them migrate to each pole of the embryo cell. Okay. From each of these 4 nuclei, one moves to the center. Okay, one moves to the center of the embryo cell, giving 2 polar. This is called 2 polar nuclei. 2 polar nuclei, and the 3 above is called antipodal cell, and the 3 at the bottom is called one of them is the egg cell, and is surrounded by synergids. Okay, synergids, 2 cells called synergids. Okay. Each of the remaining 3 nuclei at both of the sac poles become enveloped by some of the cytoplasm and cell membrane, forming distinct cells. The middle of the 3 cells that are close to the micropyle grow, forming the egg, one of them forming the egg, while the 2 sides are called synergid. The 3 cells are distant from the micropyle are called antipodal. This is called antipodal cells. The ovule ready now for fertilization. What happening in fertilization? Okay. The bowling green falls here. Okay, and it will now germinate to form bowling green. Bowling tube, and the bowling tube, as I make with the browser here, the bowling tube with the mouse, the bowling tube grow and enter from the micropyle. Okay, enter from the micropyle and release the generative nucleus to combine with the egg, and to form a zygote. Okay. The pollination and the fertilization. First, we'll talk about pollination. What's the meaning by pollination? Pollination is a process by which pollen grain are transported from the anther, okay, to the stigma. Pollen grain transferred from the answer to the stigma of the flower. What are types of pollination? We have self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination, the pollen grain are transported from the answer to stigma of the same flower. Self-pollination in the same flower. The pollen grain transferred from the answer to stigma on the same flower. Cross-pollination, it means the pollen grain transferred from answer of a flower to stigma of another flower, okay, of the same species. This type of pollination occurs in plant according to presence of certain factors such as number one, the cross-pollination may be what are conditions for cross-pollination. Number one, the flowers are unisexual. The flowers are unisexual. Male gamete contain endoecium only, or female gamete or female contain endoecium. I'm sorry, and male gamete contain endoecium only, or female contain genesium only. The organ of one sex mature before those of other sex, okay, and the height of answers is lower than stigma. Answer lower than stigma. Cross-pollination need means of transportation for pollen grain to occur. Maybe occur by air, insects, or water, or human. The pollen grain germinate. You can see here the diagram. What happening to pollen grain? Pollen grain contain two types of nucleus: tube nucleus, generative nucleus, and it will germinate now to form a pollen tube. Generative nucleus will divide to form two main nuclei, okay, and the the tube nucleus will disappear. It contains a cytoplasm surrounding by thick wall to protect it, okay. When the pollen grain again fall on stigma, they germinate tube nucleus and form the pollen tube, which penetrates the stigma and across through the style till it reaches the ovule microbile. Then the tube nucleus degenerate. The generative nucleus divide mitotic into two main nuclei. One main nucleus fuse with the egg to form a zygote, which start to divide mitotically. After that, to form embryo. After that, it will be the seed. The second male gamete N diffuses with the two nuclei of embryosacal polar nuclei to form the endosperm nucleus, 3N chromosome. 3N chromosome, second main nucleus of pollen grain, combined with the two polar nuclei of the embryosac to form endosperm, 3N chromosome. The last stage, number 2, is called triple fusion, while the two stage number 1 and 2 are called double fertilization. Double fertilization. The endosperm nucleus strains divide mitotically several times, forming the endosperm tissue that supplies the early developing embryo with food. This tissue may remain outside the embryo, occupying a part of seed. Okay. Formation of food and seeds. Seeds are two types. We have endospermic and the exendospermic. Endospermic seeds, the embryo may keep the endosperm, and the seed in this case are called endospermic seeds, such as monocot seeds, in which the integumentis of the ovule and the ovary fuse together forming single seed fruit. Okay, this is called a grain-like mesozoite. Exendospermic seeds. The embryo may feed on the endospermic tissue during its development, so it's called exendospermic seeds. The plant has to store another food in cotyledon, hence the seeds are called dicot seeds, where integumentis of the ovule harden, forming the seed testa, so called a seed, as in bean and pear seeds. What are events that take place after fertilization? الكالكس والكورولا والاندريسيوم والستايل والstigma fall out. They don't have any function now. Okay, we don't need it. The ovary remains to food. Ovary will form after that the fruit. Ribbons transformed into fruit due to hormones. The ovary wall transformed into pericarp, and the seed wall into the coat of the seed testa. The two synergid cells and the three antipodal cells all disappear. Microbial remains so as to allow water to get into the seed during germination. There are some food which keep some parts of the flower. Leaflets of the calyx, leaflets of the calyx, and the stamen remain in case of pomegranate. Okay, the calyx may take part in fruit formation, as in eggplant, dates fruits. The corolla leaflets may stay on marrow fruits. There is also false fruit. What's meaning by false fruit? The fruit in which in a part accept its ovary a large strong fruit, as in apple, where receptacle may share in fruit formation. We have also parthenocarpy. What's meaning by parthenocarpy? It's a fruit development naturally devoid of seeds. No fertilization takes place as in banana and pineapples. Parthenocarpy can be carried out artificially by spraying the stigmata of flowers with extract of pollen grains. Pollen grain powder in either solution, in ether solution, or andol acetic acid or naphthol acetic acid to stimulate the ovary to form the fruit. Pollination provides the flower with male cells needed for fertilization of the ovule that develop into seeds, and also stimulates the auxins. The importance of pollination, not only making seeds, not also stimulates the auxins necessary for developing the ovary into a mature fruit. Even fertilization doesn't take place. Maturation of the fruit and the seeds often leads to discontinuity of the plant to growth and sometimes to its death, especially its annual plants, due to consumption of stored food and inhibition of hormones. If pollination fertilization doesn't occur, what happening to the flower? It will drop off without food formation. Okay. Thank you, my students. Now we end our lesson. Okay, I hope you behaved well, and we'll meet soon in the next lesson. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.